we've got a really terrible looking fly screen here. It's starting to fall apart. For some reason most people get a bit concerned about doing these repairs, and so they get somebody else in, which I've never understood because they're so simple. Now, as can be seen, it also needs a clean, but let's just end up taking this one step at a time. We need to find where the start of the rubber is. That's what holds it in, holds the fly screen in. Depending on the tool that you've got, this is just a cheapie. Use that to hook the rubber out. Now, rubbers do come in different sizes, and those sizes can range from 3mm through to, well, really heavy duty ones can range up to 10s, and, well, to be perfectly honest, I don't really know exactly what they actually range up to, but they get pretty damn big. This one here is about a 4mm, but as long as the rubber's in pretty good condition, I'm not going to be replacing it. I'm just going to be trying to work my way around and get it out in one piece, because if I can get it out in one piece, it means I can actually reuse it, and that's a saving of a few cents, but it just saves me going back down to Bunnings at present. And every time I go to Bunnings, it's never a few cents, it always costs me an arm and a leg. I always have such interesting things, and especially this time of year, because I can almost guarantee that people will be returning all their presents that they didn't really want, and that will end up result in a hell of a lot of bargains. Anyway, I'm babbling. So, we just take the rubber all the way out, like so. Then we just simply press on this to try to get a section of the fly screen out. Once it starts to come out, as can be seen, it's very easy. You can use the same tool just to end up running along. This will kill me if I don't keep it on the sheet. Normally I do this outside, it's just that setting up the camera outside, it does make more sense to come here. Whoops, don't knock over the water, Russell. And that's the old fly screen removed. Now we don't need that anymore, so we'll just flick that off to the side. I just want to have a real quick look and make sure it all looks pretty neat. That obviously doesn't, hence why I've got the water here. So I actually don't mind these eraser sponges. A little bit of water, run the eraser sponge across it, and I don't know what they put into the eraser sponges. With that, to my way of thinking, looks sufficient. Now, I will give you a handy hint. Make sure you measure these before you go out down to Bunnings. The rolls come in different sizes, and you really don't want to actually have more hanging over the edges than you need. Length is not so important, but the width of the roll is. Now, on this one I've gone for a fiberglass. Fiberglass normally lasts quite well. They do come in metal, and they also come in plastic. Plastic I don't trust. And metal, well, unless you're looking for a security system, you can actually do. Line that up with there, line that up with there, make sure it's fairly straight. Don't leave too much overhang, and then push that out that way. There we go. That is ready to be installed. So, we don't cut it yet. What we do is we find the piece that will let it go down near the end, and you just simply press it back in. This is what this thing here is for. There's a little bit of a concave to it, and you just simply push that through there like so. Now in this particular situation, that has, I'm not happy with where the corner is, so I'm just going to try and stretch that out a bit more, because otherwise I reckon we're going to wind up with, okay, we just go around the corner using that piece that we used to hook it out beforehand to go into the corner. As I said, it's nice and convex, so it actually holds in really, really well. But that's the downside of actually using the older rubber, is that it never does seem to go back where it originally was. And so we work our way along here, as I said. I'm just going to step on this. Normally I would flick stuff around and all sorts of other bits and pieces with it, but I figured you guys have seen the back of me sufficiently that for a change you might want to actually see the front of me. Well, sort of. And it's just making sure everything lines up. Now keep in mind, you don't need it to be super tight. You just need it to do its job. And now this time on the long side I'll wind up with a little bit extra. So there you go. These things never do fit exactly as they came out. So as I said, just using that piece just to end up work it into the corners, because the corners are normally the part that, well, people don't pay enough attention to as far as I'm concerned. Now I am going to have to get off this because I need to stretch the frame. Look, that is how you do it. And the last step is to end up try to save as much as a fly screen as you can. Well, I'm a cheapie, so I always try to actually save as much as possible. Just run the blade just beside the piece of rubber you just put in, yeah? So you're not trying to cut the rubber. As I said, just running it at an angle, just along the top of the rubber. And that will give, hopefully, a nice clean cut. Ready for the next fly screen you've got to do, which normally if you do one, you find that you've got a whole heap of others to do. So, that's out of the way. Now I'm just going to show you, as I said, you just want to, at a slight angle from the corner, just along the top of the rubber, yeah? You don't want to cut the rubber. Now I must admit, it's harder doing this standing up like that. than it is when it's actually down. But this gives you a bit of an idea of what we're trying to achieve, yeah? So nice sharp blade. Whoops. Do not cut the rubber. Like I almost did just then. Now I am going to just trim this. Don't cut towards your fingers ever. Because if you cut towards your fingers, trust me, it hurts. I have done that once or twice. And there we go, final edge. Yay! Now, we've got that done. Just double check the rubber by running it again. And that is how easy it is to do a fly screen.